In today's lecture, we are going to more deep dive into the function topic. And today we start with lambda function. Lambda function. So lambda function basically, like in regular function, we use def keyword to define that function, and then the function name we use, right? Then we use arguments, parameters. I have talked about a lot in the previous lecture about function. Now, what if I asked you if I want to create a function without defining its name? Without defining a function, I want to make a function. For that, we use lambda function. So lambda function, as I asked that if I want to create a function without any name, for that we use lambda function, and lambda function are defined without any name. If I give you a basic example, like first of all, the syntax, if I told you that first we create a variable, then we assign the lambda function. We write lambda. First of all, basically its name is anonymous anonymous function. And it's because we use lambda keyword here, so that's why we called it lambda function. Okay, so now about the syntax, first we create a variable, then we assign that lambda function, then our argument, then we put colon, and then our expression. Okay, so this is how we write our lambda function. For example, let's create a variable num lambda, then our argument will be x, and our expression would be anything like x plus x. Okay, and now here what will be our x? We can pass x as using like print, then and then we will pass the value to the x, like 5. So what will be printed here? X is passed to the x is passed as value to the num, and num is our lambda function. So the x value will become 5. Our answer would be 10. So this is how we use our anonymous function or lambda function. So what is the basic idea of an anonymous function? Defined by using the lambda keyword. Okay, defined by using lambda keyword. And also They can have many arguments, but can have only one expression. They can have many arguments, like I can also use here x comma y, but I can't use here two expression like y plus y. No, this is wrong. I can use two arguments here, but here should be only one expression. Like I can write here x plus y. And if I want to pass the value of y, I can simply use this. So it becomes 5 plus 6, which is 11. Okay. And they can be used anywhere. So this is how we use our basic meaning of lambda function. Now if I again give you another example, like how we use our normal function def, then we can subtract. We name this function as subtract, then we pass our value. Sorry, a comma b. Now our statement like return a minus b. Now call that function. What will now if I want to do the same thing using lambda, how will I do this? We just need to create a variable subtract. Then I will use lambda keyword. Then I have to subtract, so I have to pass two arguments, a comma b. Now colon and then a my expression. Now I simply need to print then our variable, and we have to pass the values of a and b. Let's say take same values. Now if I run this command, I got both same value. First for 5 and this one for the 5. So this is our, we say it regular function, and this is our lambda function. Okay, so I hope you understand what is lambda function. It is a very simple. Now, so this is all about anonymous function. If I write here also the syntax, we will create our variable, then we use lambda keyword, then our arguments. Now, we can say view means then our expression. Here it is colon. Now we will move towards map function. Map function. Now what is a map function? Basically, if I asked you, I have a function like, let's say multiply, our function name. Now it will return x into x. Okay. And also I have a list, say 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. So if I asked you that I want to apply this function to each and every element of this list, like if I apply this function to the first element, 1 into 1, then our result will be 1. Then 2 into 2, 3 into 3, 4 into 4, like this. Or if I write here 2, then x is multiplied by 2, means x will become 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 by 1, and our result will be get like 1 into 2, 2, 2 into 2, 4, 3 into 2, 6, 4 into 2, 8. So basically I'm saying, what if I want to apply this function to each and every of this element of this list? So here we can do multiple things. For that we can use our variable arguments like we have discussed in the last lecture. Like we can give as many arguments we want, but there is a simple way. For that we use our map function. Like how? Our simple syntax for the map function is, we use map keyword, then our function that we want to apply, and our iterable, iterable, like whatever the, for example, I write any list, tuple, or etc. Whatever you want to apply the function to any iterable thing. Now, if I take this same example, now what will I do? Suppose we have a list numbers 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. We can take any list, and this is our function, and I will do, let's say x. I will create a variable squares, then map, then our function multiply, comma numbers. Here it should have X. Now simply need to print this variable squares. Now let's see what happened. String map object. If I run this command, here we have used map function and we are applying this multiply function to the numbers, and numbers is our list. So map function is doing apply this multiply function to the each and every element of this number. So 1 into 1, 2 into 2, 3 into 3 and 4 into 4. So what will we get when we print squares? Square of each number. So let's see. Here you can see we get something like map object at this. We get not our output as we had expected. Basically we get an iterator. To so to we can say to get our expected result, it is basically giving us the result that we want. We want a list. So let me just tell you how can we. So I have told you in previous lectures where we have talked about data types. How can we convert one data type to another? So here also we have to convert this into list data type. Then we will get our correct output. So to convert it into list, we do this list. Then inside parentheses, we write our map function. Now if I run this command, we get our expected output 1, 4, 9 and 16, square of every element of this list. If I write here tuple, then we get our tuple, not the list. Okay. So to get the correct output, we have to correct the data type like this. Now we can also use this map function to in map function we can use our lambda function also. How? We can apply lambda function to each and every element of any list or tuple. For example, we have a list. Suppose 34, 56, 23, 68, 68, 97, 80. I have taken a random number and what I want to do is I want to basically suppose I want to plus 2 to each and every number. So how can I do that using map function and lambda function? We have done this before. Before this, we have used a normal regular function. Now for the lambda function, to store the lambda function, we need to create a variable. So let's say take a variable numbers. Okay, or nums. Now we have to use lambda on, we have only one element, right? We have to apply to each element. So suppose we have 34. So this is only a one value. So that's why we will take only one argument. Then what we have to do, we have to apply plus 2 to each and every element. Now we have done this, but we want to apply this lambda function to each and every element. For that we use map inside. Now we write comma, then we write on that variable in the list we stored. Okay, so we write list one because in list one we to the each and every element of list one we have to apply this lambda function. So that's how we use lambda first. In before example, we have used directly function here, our regular function name na, to apply to all the elements of the whatever list we have used. Same we have applied the lambda function to each and every element of the list one. Now this will give us an iterator. This will not give us the expected output. For that we will convert it into list. Now if I print our nums, we will got plus 2 value of each element of list 1. That is 4 plus 2, 36, 58, 25, 70, 99 and 90. So this is the basic example of lambda function using map function. So what is the map function? Map function is used to apply a given function to each element element of a sequence like a list or a tuple and produce a new collection. Okay, so basically we are transforming our data into another form of data using map function. Now our next topic will be filter function. Now filter, as this name says, filter. You can see the the filtration process. Like when we make tea, we filter out all the chai patti and adrak and all the other things, and we filter out the our tea into the cup. So same, we use filter function to filter the any data, to filter any data. Like we have a data of list 1, comma 2, comma 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I want to filter out the even numbers. Like I want to remove the odd numbers and I only want even numbers in my the new list. So how can I do this? Basically, here we will create a function that will help us to filter out the odd numbers from this list. So the basic syntax of filter is we use filter keyword, then our function, then our iterator. It's same as map, but they have different tasks. Now I will create a variable even nums. Now I will use filter. Here also I need to create a function that will filter out the even numbers. Def even nums. Now return x modulo 2 Here I will put X. Now filter. Range. If I we have to convert into list. Now what we get here? We get our odd numbers. Why? Because in our function we have written, basically we have done filter out the even numbers here. We have filter out even numbers. If I do this, what if I do here equals to 0? Now here basically mean x, whatever our number, modulo 2 give us 0. Now this will give us the even numbers 2, 4 and 6. So basically filter is filtering the now our odd numbers from the list 1. If I do here not equals to 0, now here also we get our odd number. So basically what it means that this function is telling कि ऐसा नंबर दो जो 2 से डिवाइड करने पे रिमाइंडर 0 ना दे, फिल्टर कर दो वो नंबर्स. Imagine it like here it is written x is not uh, divisible by 2. Suppose it is written like this. So what will it do? He will apply this modulo 2 not equal to 0 to each and every element of 0. And whatever the number is not giving us true. So suppose our x will become 1. So yes, it is giving true because 1 modulo 2 will not give us 0. So it is true, then it will be printed in our list. Then 2 it gives us 0, so it become false. So again if I write here equals to, here it will also say the same thing, but here I will write my function name, even nums. Now here, if this become true, then it will be filled. Then it will be printed. If become false, it will get filter out. So basically filter remove the those values which give the condition as false. Now I get 246 because at this function even numbers are giving us the true, giving us true. So that's why those values are printed here and odds are not printed. So this is the basic logic of filter function. So what is a filter function? Basically, it gives us the sequence of elements to satisfy the condition. जो सेटिस्फाई कर रहा है वही तो प्रिंट होगा और जो नहीं करेगा वो फिल्टर हो जाएगा. ओके. Now we will do it using lambda function. Now think yourself how will we use it using lambda function. It will be same as we use map function when we use lambda function. Now again we will create a variable even nums. Now we have to apply filter and at the left side of the comma we will apply our condition and on the right side on which we have to iterate our condition, that condition that we written in our left. So we will use lambda here. Lambda, then our x means each element of list 1. Then our expression x not x remainder 2 equals to 0. Now on which we want to apply print even nums. This is how we use this is our expression. Okay, we have to convert it into list data type. Or if you want to convert into tuple, you can also do in tuple or set also. Now we got our even numbers. Now if I write not equals to 0, then we got our 1357. So this is the basic idea of a filter function. Okay. Now we will see our reduce function. Reduce function. Now what is our reduce function? Suppose we have this same list and what I want to do, if I have a function add, it will add a comma b, it will return a plus b. Now what I want to do is the first element 1 will become a and b become 2. Then their addition will happen. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay. If I write here, what I want to do is a become 1, b store the value 2 and our result will become 3. Now this 3 will be stored as again a and the next element 4 will be stored as b. Now what will happen? Now a becomes 3 and our b becomes 4. Now our result will be 3 plus 4 which is 7. Now again a becomes 7 and b becomes next element which is 5. And our result will be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is I want. The result of the two values becoming the input of this function again. The output become again the input. Basically, this is I mean. So in the final output of this function, we will get the sum of all the elements of this list. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 and till 7. So for that, we use reduce function. Although we can do this using loops, but if we want to use function, then we can use this using reduce function. Now let's see how can I do this. Simple again, we have to do this like we have done map and filter function. But for that, before using reduce function, we have to import the reduce function. Now how we will import the reduce function? We import it from function tools or fun tools. We will write from function tools. Then import reduce. Now we have imported the reduce. Now we can use reduce. If we don't write this code, we will get error if we try to use reduce. Now I will create a nums, or I can say total, then reduce. Now we will apply our function add to list one. Now we will print total. Now let's see what happened. We get 28. The total output of the all the elements of this list. And notice one thing, we didn't use list keyword or tuple keyword or set keyword here because we got from this list we don't want a list, we are getting output as a single value, so we are not required to change it into list or tuple. Okay, so this is how we use our reduce function. And now if I talk about the definition of basic definition, we used it to apply a given function cumulatively to each element of a sequence from left to right. So as to reduce the sequence to a single value. Okay. Used to apply a given function cumulatively to each element of a sequence from left to right to reduce to a single value, and here we have used cumulatively. This basically means when we are getting our first value means a plus b means 1 plus 2, we are using that output as our input to our function. Okay. Now we can use it also in lambda function. Same like I have to just remove this function and I will use here lambda. Lambda. Now my arguments say x. Then what I need to do? X plus what we will do? Y. Yeah, we need to take here two arguments because x will be our first element, y will be our second element. So now we will do reduce. Again, we will get the same answer as 28. So this is how we use our reduce function. I can use here for multiplication also, whatever I want, according to my output. Okay. So this is how we use our reduce function. If I talk about the syntax, reduce our function and then our iterator. And here cumulatively मतलब the result of each step becomes the first argument for the next step. Result of each step become the first argument for each step. For example, I give you example. We have a function add a comma b for suppose we have a list. So first here a is our a will be our for first step. A will be our 1 and B will be our 2 here. Now in the second step, what will be our A? A will become the output of the first step. Output of first step, if we are doing addition, then 1 plus 2 will become 3. Now 3 will become, A will become 3 now. Output of the first step, it will become now input for the first argument. Not for B, it will become for A. And B will become our next element, which is 3. Now the output will be 3 plus 3, 9. A will become 9. And B will become next element. which is 4. And in fourth step, a will become 9 plus 4, which is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And our b will become nothing. So this is our final output, 13. Okay. So I hope you understand what is reduce function, filter function, map function, and anonymous function. This is all for today. If you have any doubt, please comment and also give the feedback of this lecture and how I can improve myself so that you can understand more better. This is all for today. Thank you.